Really? Hi, I did it. Look at what I did. We're gonna pot my plants. This is an IKEA bag, so that I don't even know. Oh fuck. There we go. Okay, there. There. And then I'll have to figure out later, or we can just listen to it. But I want to watch the Ministry of Sciences with their talk later. I want their update on what's going on. And this probably needs to be turned up. How about now? Is that better? And then cool. Nice. Oh my god, they look so dusty. Okay. Okay. I'll go here. Oh my god. I hate this fucking light mount. I think I threaded it. There. Is that better? Because I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be like over here looking at shit, I guess. Hi. I even, I even straightened my hair. Or blew it out, I guess. Whoa, look at that. And I have fake eyelashes on. Wow. Nice garden, thank you. And there we go. Oh my god. I need a projector. I don't know where to put chat. I guess I'll put chat over here. And my projector over here. Uh, uh, Stop. There. Alright. Yeah, this is my little succulent garden I've been working on for a while. You hear me better that way? Is that better? Mm-hmm. What do I want? Sure. Oh, fuck, I didn't grab mine. I have to grab one more thing. The other pots that I have. Okay. See? They're jars, but I'm gonna use them as little succulent planters. I don't know what that is. There's two of them. Alright, I'm flipping my hair back up out of the way. Ah, I need my big clip. That'd be so much better. Hold on. Nope. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I need to pull my hair up. There. That's better. Ooh. Nice. Guess I need to sit lower again. Am I back in frame? Cool. Also, wow, look at my wings and my fake lashes. Okay. I'm not gonna narrate this shit. I'm just doing this because I wanted to do this with you guys. And I don't know shit fuck about plants. Like the names of mine, I guess we could like look it up, but I don't fucking know. I don't know what I want to listen to. Sure, we'll do this playlist. I also have a giant pickle jar because I want to make an ecosystem, but we'll have to Google how to do that because I don't fucking know. Um, but I thought that that would be something fun for us to do. I'm a fucking nerd. Mm. I don't need. I need this in like a smaller. Okay, cool. It is the same. Oh my god. Succulent soil. I'm also gonna make another water. I don't know what it's called. Another water base out of this because my favorite propagation that I have is this, and it has algae. I'm just kidding, algae. I don't know which is the best. By the way, this other camera is my MacBook. Just gonna throw that out there. But yeah, look at that. Mmm, yum. There's also tons of roots, which is I think is really cool. Do I need to turn this light up? Yeah, light that shit up. I don't want that. Oh, here it is. What do I don't want this one first. I want this. Okay. Oh god, I'm sorry if this is like some weird ASMR. Okay, good. I think my gate's up enough. I was like, oh shit. Okay. Oh shit. Where? Oh, what's my that cool? Okay. Oh, I have a coat. Oh, I'm also going to make a propagation tube from my empty vacuette. How is it picking up from that bar? Okay, I guess I put it right there. So much shit. Okay, what do I want to put in here? I guess I should put these. Since they're kind of going everywhere. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's okay because like I can propagate them, but stop. Okay, I'll use this one. Is that too loud for you guys? Is that better? I don't know what it sounds like. Alright, all the broken pieces will go in here, and then we'll make the propagation station after. Okay, I don't know if gardening to this. I know what I'll play. Okay. There. This is better. I'm ready to deal with you. Not to live life. Ah, how do I get it out? Ah! Okay. Okay. Alright. That works. What do your roots look like? That works for me. It's I don't really know where I stay at. Can I get a address? Come on. Oh, I don't know where to. I guess I could do this. Oh, are you trying to get a deal? Ooh. Can you? I need another rock. Fly around. Okay. There. Yeah. There. Does that look better? And what's cool is this one has already started sprouting sprouts. Because it was like down there. So down here are some roots. Ah! I should just take this one and redo it anyways. Because it's losing its shit. Yeah. Well, we'll put it in the top of the morning mug. I'll worry about that in a second. I gotta clean this up. I'm gardening. I also did my makeup. So instead of doing it alone, I'm doing it with you guys. I think this is more of those guys. I want you over there. On the archer, this kid's on a set. Don't. On the archer, it comes. You didn't recognize why? Because I have eyelashes. Expectation. I don't know what to. It's falling apart. There. I'll do it like that. And then it can grow however it wants. Thank you. I know, I don't look like a cretin. I can actually look like a woman. I haven't fixed my hair, but I'm hot right now, so it's up. Thank you. But I had some gummies, so we're just gonna like vibe and garden. Yeah. We're just gonna get high and vibe and garden. And I can show you these all started from little bitty propagations that I got from Etsy. And this one's from my friend's wedding. It started off as a little baby. This one and this one are both from my friend's wedding. Um, 3 3 years ago. And you know, these are freaks of nature because I only remember to water them once every like couple fucking months. So like they are god tier succulents. So like I'm just gonna keep breeding the toughest succulents known to man, and then eventually they're just gonna take over the world, so that's my plan. Ah, he's really in there. I just really need to move this one around. Like you said, you believe me that I'd be right for you, say you right. Like you still. Okay. So I'll leave that one like that. We have that one now. God, I have to figure out what to do with this one. I guess I could break off. I guess I could break off one of these. I could break off one of the leaves and make another one. Science. We'll do that. So I only have one of these. Woo! Fuck, I don't know where to put these. I guess I'll put them over here. Acid. Sorry, I'll turn the music back up a little bit. What you want, what you wanted. Ew. That's disgusting. I'm happy. And this one has really nice nitrogen. It has really nice nitrogen content, the soil, and that's why this one is all pink. Yeah. Science. I haven't read about it in a while. I really hope that's still a thing. Thank you for the work. Like I said, we're just chilling. We're just chilling. And this one's done. I'll put the buds in this. Damned if I can make. Yeah, cats eat a lot of shit they're not supposed to. What you want, what you wanted, you need that. Thank you. Yeah, I like to look like a woomph every once in a while. I forgot the freaking names of these songs. That's what I'm looking at. Do I cocaine? Do I see it? Where is it? I feel lonely sometimes. No, I was looking for a song. Okay, there. There. And a coke and Jesus and a black cross. You got a man, don't need him, but you are. Everyone on your run. The glass screeching. Is that weed? No. Thank you. And a cocaine, Jesus. Okay. Just a quiet time. Now, this is the thing. This one's become stringy, and the only way to fix it is if I cut it, like, up here, but I kinda like how stringy it is. I don't know. I guess I could do, like... Okay, I know what I could do. Or do this. Ah! Confess your love. Tell me now. Woo! Yeah. Oh, good night. Okay, good night. Whoa, is it leaking? Kind of smelling. What up? And I'll put one of these in here too.
This is cocaine speaking.
There. Potting and not cocaining. I really want to look at this water under a microscope because I have absolutely no idea what's in there. Let me pour it. It's clear. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. It's clear. That means that the algae's in the rocks. I want to see. Because I know that there's like a ton of roots in there, and I want to see, but I don't want to like destroy the roots, but I want to see. I want to see. Mm-mm. Okay, this is what I was talking about.
7-year-old. I've been president of the PTA at his school for 2 years, right? Like,
But I
I'm
wanted to
in
listen to
these
this.
groups where we call
But I'll
out
play
the board
some
here about
background
who plays
music.
it. Like, I'm in North Texas, and so recently there have been a lot of issues here with, like, can we even have a pride parade in Arlington? Just by saying, look, to people who are going to be like, we don't discriminate if you're LGBTQ. It's like, well, that's not enough. Show me how you celebrate it, right? Like, to me, it's, I want to have a voice in the actual school. So it's like, okay, teachers are accepting, but what does that mean? Do they actually know what issues and concerns are facing LGBTQ students? Let's talk about that, right? Like, you can say, oh, we're inclusive, but it's like, is there a gender sexuality alliance on each junior high and high school campus. Why not, right? Like, are teachers informed? Are they
Hold
empowered?
on.
Can we say, like, as a district that we are centering an agenda of inclusivity, or are we just saying we're not going to discriminate, which is so abstract and meaningless, right? So I
Right.
feel like you got to find the less sexy kind of concrete stuff too, and get your hands dirty in there. And we have to be visible, because a lot of times it's easy to just be dismissive of people who aren't like us. I didn't have to surround myself with people who aren't like me until I had a child, right? And
Right.
that kind of pulled me out of academia and kind of put me in this world of normal people. And it took me a while to adjust, but it's like, I honestly feel like that's where I need to be, because those are the people I need to reach, and I need to be able to talk to and help them see things in a different way, and see things in a different way. More radical text than it is now. But I wanted a book that could speak to different people, like, and actually maybe inspire these
It's coming through
moments of
both.
recognition and change.
Does anyone want to do a follow-up question to that? Because I have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that kind of came into my head when you were talking about sort of that, like, we actually have to have an agenda that's actually centered on concrete action to help make marginalized people, I guess in this case, LGBTQ plus people, very visible, and again, like centered as a part of what is going on. That to me almost seems like the inflection point where the political right gets involved, because especially in light of current rhetoric, it feels like that like place, that spot is where things like that seems to be the like current narrative coming out of the right wing. So I guess all of that to ask the following question: how do we go about, like, one, trying to convince sort of the people who are sort of being inactive and just saying or offering up meaningless platitudes, while also simultaneously trying to either get ahead of that right-wing narrative of this is grooming, or outright countering it? Because if you're trying to convince those people who are either apathetic or just kind of sitting out to, come into the fight, and they're hearing that stuff come from the right, it feels like they might be disinclined to do so if they buy into right-wing framing of the issue.
Right. We need to change the narrative. And that definitely takes place on the local level. Like what I was saying, it's not sexy, right? You have to go to board meetings. You have to get involved in city council. You actually have to do that work, because when we look at this national framing of LGBTQ issues, it emerges on the local level in these places, right? Like there's this reciprocal relation between like the local and this larger scale kind of national discourse. So in the school board elections, everyone was anti-SEL and CRT, and there are more trans and gay students than ever. And so pause for a minute and say, absolutely, more trans and lesbian,
Fixed
gay,
it.
bisexual students feel
Got
confident
it.
and comfortable being out than ever before.
Okay.
How do we embrace that as adults whose responsibility it is to create a welcoming, safe, secure? That's how you change the narrative, right? You don't say, well, it's no, yeah, isn't that the best thing ever? And when it comes to SEL, do you know what that is? It's social emotional learning. We're teaching your kid how not to be a jackass. How can that be a partisan issue unless you've already embraced a particular
Because
identification
because
as an
emotional
asset?
intelligence gives them less supporters.
Absolutely. And that's why they want to kick it out of the schools, right? That's exactly what it is. Because not all kids are being empowered at home. That's not happening. Families are, they're just shitty at it, right? Not everyone knows how to parent. So we need that kind of that
And
emotional security net in the schools. When I'm thinking
Sorry, I
about
just saw
teaching in
that.
a high school classroom, I recognize I'm going to be like a mommy figure to a lot of children, right? Like my job is going to be to create an atmosphere they can exist in so that they can then learn in it, right? Like that means having things like snacks and sanitary napkins, because they're not always getting those things at home. So, I mean, I think that those are the sites of concrete change. And that's one reason I decided to transition to high school. I feel like more people need to be on the front lines, like actually taking up that work.
So that being said, so you mentioned like, yes, we do see more people who are comfortable with being out now, embracing that statistic. Do you think, well, there was the secret gay agenda video leak from Florida with one of the people at the head of Disney's creative department, and that got a lot of backlash within right-wing media. Do you think that in the same spirit, we should embrace the reaction to that and say, like, well, yeah, we do have an agenda, and that agenda is social and family affirmation. Like, that's what we want.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I mean, when people accuse me of being anti-racist, it's like, yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, if it's like,
Accuse you of being
you
anti.
know,
Wow, what an accusation! Really
but I mean,
scolding.
it's one of those things. It's like when people are offering up these kind of complaints, if it's actually something that you stand for, don't try to water it down, right?
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, there is a homosexual agenda. They're trying to disrupt the idea that there's one way to live and love, and yeah.
Be
So let's talk from there. Then do you see, like, you've already changed the dialogue a little bit, because it's like, okay, so let's articulate what that homosexual agenda is, right?
mhm.
And then tell me what's bad about it again. Accepting 10-year-olds, you know, like, what's the problem here? That changes it when you're like, yeah, of course.
Well,
And
speaking,
it gets people off guard.
yeah, just be like, yeah, there's a gay agenda. It's called living. Yeah.
Right.
So, wow, I immediately forgot the question I was going to ask. Are you familiar with the recent? I think it's Daily Wire has a new program out called "What Is Woman." It's very anti-LGBT. It's very anti-feminist. It's extremely reactionary programming. Matt Walsh, who is leading the documentary,
I need
self-described
another
theocratic
rock, I think.
fascist, went to, I can't remember what university it was, but he spoke to a gender studies professor. And throughout the beginning of the interview, it was very clear that it was a bad faith, hostile interview meant to catch the professor off guard and just stonewall him with straw man arguments. It was only until the professor realized that there is no arguing with bad faith that he started to do the teacher thing and like just ask the questions back to the person. Where do you
It
feel
broke.
like we in the social sciences? I'm a student of sociology, so that's kind of my background. Where do you feel like we fall short in social science communication?
I feel like we need to kind of bridge the gap between the really smart work and research that we do and our really great ideas, and the people who need to hear them, who aren't always part of this small niche discourse community, right? So it's kind of like, well, that's why I did the blog. It's how do you talk to people? And even my book, it's very plain spoken. I I have theory, and I say, here is the theory. Now I'm going to kind of hang, it's over here chilling, and I'm going to just talk to you, right? Like, but this is where I get my ideas. And I feel like we need to do that more. And that's also a problem with the tenure system, right? Because a lot of places that you could publish, it's not necessarily going to count the same way on the tenure track. So I feel like there's a freedom to not being tenured in that way, where I can put a tremendous amount of effort into very
I know
public
reading
facing
rap.
work that people can hear and understand. That if I were tenure track, that, I mean, hundreds of hours I've spent on my blog would not count towards anything, right? And so it just gets into these different levels of problematic, where we don't reward people for doing public facing work. We don't reward people for taking their ideas and putting them into action in academia. So those are part of the issue that we need to address there, right? It's like this whole kind of systemic issue.
Yeah, and we don't focus on like the hard communication in environments like hostile interviews for people who are going to be trying to delegitimize your work intentionally. We don't train for that at all in any higher education.
No, I mean, communication is definitely, because it's not valued, right? Writing an editorial isn't going to get you tenure. That's not, so that becomes part of the problem when our training is so narrow and focused that there's one way to write. And I've actually written articles and submitted them to recently an edited collection, and the editor was like, can this isn't really how we expected you to write and to talk. And I was like, oh, well, I kind of think that if I'm going to spend a really long time researching and writing about something, it's awesome when more than 10 people can understand me. So it wasn't necessarily about the quality of research or ideas. It's more about you're not using enough, your words don't have enough syllables in them, right? So it's also this kind of pretension that's built into academia, where part of it is being obscure makes you somehow more intelligent. And that's, that's one reason I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to high school and do whatever I want because I can't deal with the hypocrisy of these people making social critique while they reproduce these systems of social injustice, knowing because they're smart people. They know what they're doing.
And it often comes off as pseudo-intellectual too, because like you said, they add as many syllable words as possible in it, when to the layman it's incomprehensible. So how are you going to communicate to someone who is making programming like Matt Walsh in a hostile environment for people who already operate off of an elementary syntax? How are you going to communicate these things and be sympathetic or bring some kind of sympathy in your rhetoric? You can't do that in the normal way. So I think within academia, there needs to be some kind of shift in focus in communication, because we are a very socially minded society now, especially with the proliferation of social media, that we need to be able to communicate these things more rapidly in clippable moments, to put that in Twitch terms.
I absolutely agree. And I feel like we need to value other modes of communication other than the 30-page scholarly peer-reviewed article, right? And that's why I said before at some point that the left needs to be more comfortable putting things into the world, even if they're imperfect things, because I feel like that's part of the trauma of being an academic, right? Like everything has to be so, perfect all of the time, and we can't make mistakes. But I make mistakes all of the time. Like the first chapter of my book, I'm saying that this article I wrote and published in 2018, I was wrong. I thought I was so smart and I was wrong. I feel like we can take things back. So it's okay to put them out there if they're not fully formed and brilliant. And we need more of those avenues to speak to people beyond academia, because we don't necessarily have enough of them.
Yeah.
So I guess to piggyback off of that, because that's something that I've very much verbalized my frustration with, as well as sort of the lack of any communication based training in graduate student training. For reference, I'm a 4th year doctoral candidate, but I'm in the hard sciences, and the most I got was one semester-long course on science communication, which was essentially just how to recite what you do for your research, but in different mediums, whether it's a blog or a press release or a presentation. And that was so wholly insufficient. I was just kind of hitting my head against my desk the entire time. I didn't learn much from this. I'm going to learn more by doing things on my own. And my own advisor literally told me, when I brought up the notion of trying to incorporate this into my career at some point when I graduate, he said, okay, cool, I'm here for moral support, but beyond that, you're on your own. And while I appreciated that candor, he pointed out a pretty imminent flaw in the training I was about to undergo, in this isn't something that's supported or subsidized. So I guess, in your opinion, Dr. Miller, right, if we are having sort of these inward-facing conversations within academia, how do we convince the people who structure these programs, who try to, or who could incorporate training like this in programs, to actually do it? What does that conversation sound like?
Well, I think training is an issue, but value is also an issue, right? If certain modes of communication and certain audiences are not valued, that's the problem. We need to think in terms of how can we value different audiences that we would be able to communicate our research to. And that, I think, is where it starts. It's kind of look, there is something intrinsically political about doing research in the environmental sciences, and people should be able to access this in a way that they can understand, but there's no interest in that, right? And that becomes the problem, because in your program, they need to have people teaching courses. Do you have people who can teach this course in your program? Right? I mean, that's one problem. Another problem is, are they going to actually take a different course and make it not a requirement so that this course can be offered? Are they going to value it enough to do that? I mean, there's so many issues, and to me, it really just comes down to like how we evaluate things in the world. And so much of the work that happens in academia, it's just in this just kind of little, it is an ivory tower where we're just talking to the same people over and over, and we know how to do that well, but it's not persuasive, right? We're not writing to persuade, we're writing to inform for the most part. And it's like, how can we change that and connect it to real world issues? We'd have to care first, and that would be the first step.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, it kind of like, I don't disagree. I mean, I think that was a really salient analysis. I guess for me, it's frustrating that like, despite whatever, you know, protestations I might have as a grad student, like it feels very, it feels like a Sisyphean task to try and get other academics to care. I mean, I'm very fortunate to have come across some academics in this space, at least on Twitch, who do care and I think share the same values. But it feels difficult to try and get those who are in power, who have that privilege and who can just sit out, to not sit out and actually care. Like it you know, it's a chicken before the egg thing. Like how do you get someone to care to make the change if they're not going to care to make the change? I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just venting a little bit, but like that's the obstacle that I run into every single time when I'm talking to people in my real life academic spaces, is they just don't seem to care. Like, oh yeah, cool, that sounds good, Marcus, whatever. I'll show up tomorrow and do the same things that I was doing before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they see themselves as preparing you for a particular career. And because writing to multiple venues are not valued within that particular career, they're not going to make it part of the curriculum. And so, I mean, part of it is maybe finding opportunities on your own. And this is for like any grad student, it's for anyone, right, who does research. You just maybe create your venue. Like I created my blog and it's got a lot of followers now, and people have asked me to help curate collections and stuff. Like I feel like that is more important in so many ways than the book projects that are going to have a more limited audience, although the book is still really quite readable for people. But maybe you just have to try and maybe not be brilliant in your first attempt at writing an editorial, right? But you can put it out there. And I think that again is that perfectionism of academia. Like we don't want to put imperfect things in the world. And I feel like that's gotta go. You know, and I mean the blog, sometimes I look like, oh my gosh, that typo, and but it's, you know, that typo isn't the important thing. And so you gotta let go and, you know, let yourself be free.
Yeah. Someone in chat saying turn personal troubles into social issues.
Mm-hmm.
Or other residents, social sciences person in the chat right now. Nerd.
What's up, K-Pars? How are you?
Yeah.
All right.
This one has a
Graham, you
purple
can
back.
Take from your other. Actually, wait. Do we want to circle back to the Matt Walsh thing? Do we want to do what we were thinking of?
So, and this is entirely up to you. If you, Doctor, are up for perhaps like a simulation and a hostile interview, like what are the proper ways to for an academic to respond in these environments where you're not being painted in good faith or not being given a chance to be displayed in good faith? If that's something you're up for, then we can give it a shot.
I'll give it a go and maybe
Okay.
put something perfect into the world.
Okay, so there you go. So we'll just kind of mirror exactly what happened in that interview, because it frustrated me as someone who's part of social sciences. The first question was, what is a woman? So that's the question that was posed, and we can get into what the answer was. So if you were to answer it in your best way, what would you say is like a woman?
Well, I think when we are thinking in terms of women and men and gender, we need to think of these as social constructs that are going to shift in historical context and geographical context. So woman is an interesting idea that may have had its day.
But what is it?
I know. It's that ephemeral.
That's
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
I
either-
agree. I agree. Like I think that my answer is I think I really captured the essence of woman in my answer.
Yeah.
Right. And insofar as we cannot pin it down.
Well, that was easy enough. So, I like your response. So the framing of the interview that frustrated me so endlessly was that as the professor was kind of giving the most academic answer possible, citing like the different cultures and like how material conditions brought about different value sets. It was cut so that it seemed like long and boring and like it was putting you to sleep. The
Kind of
shortest
probably
answer.
was.
Yeah. No. Yours was perfect because it got to the point, but didn't allow the framing of it to take control of the question.
Mhm.
So that's perfect. That's perfect.
Well, thank you. I mean, honest, like I've taught intro to gender studies a gazillion times, and Gail Rubin has an article, The Traffic in Sex, where she, as an anthropologist, does cite how gender is done differently. And that can be an aha moment for some students where it's like, oh, so I don't think concrete examples are a bad thing. I mean, I just left them out of my response, right? I said, like, in different historical moments. But I can see how that would be beneficial, but I also would be wary in the context to go into too much detail.
Yeah. But what is a man?
What is a man? I still don't know. And I think that that is essentially the truth about gender, right? It's something that we make up as we go along and we rely on it and we believe in it, but we can't necessarily tell you what it is, can we? We do good things with it and we do bad things with it, just like we do with religion, right? Gender, it's one of those things that people can find great joy in performing their gender, experiencing their gender, identifying with their gender, but it can also really be a negative. It can inhibit us when we think about gender from understanding ourselves in more creative ways, from interacting with people in more harmonious and productive ways and generative ways. So, again, I'm going to go back to what is a woman? Maybe it's an idea whose time has come.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Marcus, I think we've fleshed this out as much as we can because that was pretty much perfect. Spot on.
That was really great.
Yeah.
You're very quick with those. Wow. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I can't think that
Started
fast.
drinking tonight.
If I was typing it, I would be fine. But if I was being asked these questions, I would just die.
Yeah.
I'm old too. Like I've been talking for so many years at this point.
Yeah.
I've been teaching for 15 years, and students are the best trainers because they will ask you the most random shit and they expect you to say something smart.
Yeah.
That's true. It's just funny to hear it stated like that.
Yeah. Better give a good answer or else we're going to circle this wagon for a while.
You'll hear about it in your end of semester reviews.
Yeah.
Rich would stand up.
Yeah,
Well, that
no,
was perfect.
yeah, no, it was. I think that was a very good answer that didn't offer the bad faith interlocutor an opportunity to drag you into the weeds, because that's usually in the dialogue tree, so to speak. The next follow up is but wait, chromosomes.
Now I have to figure out
we have to have these
how to hang
definitions. Well,
these.
do we? I mean, that's
Yes,
why
I
your
am
answer is so poignant.
I am exclusively attracted to XY chromosomes.
Yeah.
That's it. Maybe I was gonna do an XXY just to throw out some sex chromosome abnormalities in there, but
Well, and then, to make it worse, those kinds of people are referring to evolutionary psychology, and they imply that you were born with an XY chromosome detector that can home you in perfectly to people of the right chromosome, which is just madness. But,
Yeah. They do both.
I can smell his chromosomes from here.
Yeah. They do both gender essentialism and biological determinism all wrapped in one ridiculous notion.
Yeah, but I think,
Okay. I'm gonna do some crafting to see
who is having these discussions
what
be,
I can do about
explicitly
making
trained in hard
hangers for
sciences.
this.
That I think is the really
So I think I'm gonna
profound
record it,
utility of an answer like that is it directs people
but
away
not stream
from
it.
getting into the weeds of
So
those details.
I will see you
and more
guys
about, the definition